guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's case, I will be covering another true crime story. Now, if you guys follow me then on the previous video, you would have heard that I've covered this case before actually, but it was just interrupted by technical issues, so I'm just refilming it again. Before I get started though, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for letting me reach 100 subscribers and for liking and commenting on my videos. And so without further ado, let's just get straight into today's case. Now, before we get started in today's case, I just wanted to give a quick disclaimer that this is fairly graphic, and also if you guys want to go on Google and search this case further, there are graphic images of a deceased body to do with this case, so just be warned that there is a lot of unblurred images out there. But without further ado, again, let's just get into this straight away. On January 11th, 2013, the body of 17-year-old Kendrick Johnson was found in the most unusual of circumstances. Upside down and rolled up in a school gym mat. The mysterious death of Kendrick Johnson was initially ruled an accident by law enforcement, but his family was not convinced. The initial autopsy revealed that Johnson died due to positional asphyxia. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that word, so do forgive me on that. Or that he suffered as a result of being stuck upside down in an enclosed space for an extended period of time. Just after 24 hours of being found, the investigators ruled Johnson's death an accident. The sheriff's department asserted that Johnson must have accidentally fallen into the center of the mat while reaching for a sneaker, which he had stored there, so as not to have to pay for a locker. But Johnson's parents felt that his death was not being taken seriously, in part because of his race, or because a larger cover-up was at play. Kendrick Johnson lived with his family in Georgia and attended Lounsd High School. His family and friends described him as a sweet and he eventually would have begun to bleed from his facial orifices. But this is one of the most baffling mysteries of this case. The black and white gym shoe that lay on the ground below Kendrick Johnson, the one he was presumed to be reading for, was lying on top of a pool of blood, but there was no blood on the shoe itself. A hoodie and a pair of orange and black gym shoes were also found lying on the floor of the gym, as well as traces of blood on the wall nearby. Investigators tested the blood, which revealed that it did not belong to Kendrick Johnson. They also reported that the blood had likely been there for a long time. Investigators did not take the hoodie and orange and black gym shoes into evidence. Johnson's parents were suspicious of the investigation from the beginning. They believed that the sheriff's department was too quick to rule out foul play as a cause of Johnson's death, considering that within 24 hours of finding Kendrick Johnson's body, they concluded that it was an accident. The Johnsons were also sure that their son's body had been moved, which was corroborated by Lowndes County Coroner Bill Watson. Georgia State law dictates that the coroner be contacted immediately on the discovery of the body, but Watson claimed that he was not notified until 6 hours later. Furthermore, Johnson's parents argued if this was an accident, how would no one have heard Kendrick call for help in a high school of over 3,000 students? Johnson's parents finally believed that their son's death was not being taken seriously because of his race. Kendrick Johnson was black, and the Lowndes County Sheriff Chris Bryant and his investigators were all white. Indeed, in 2013, racism in Georgia was still very much alive. The family's attorney, Jevin King, expressed that if Kendrick had been white, the case would have been handled differently. Kendrick Johnson's parents released a photo to the media of their son's face as he lay in the funeral home. Just a quick reminder that this image is actually out there on Google and it's not very pleasant. Of course it isn't, so I don't advise you guys to go and research it because it is very disturbing. It is of course up to you, but that's just my personal opinion. The photo in which Kendrick Johnson's face is extremely swollen, almost just not looking human. The public was horrified by the photo and began to rally around the Johnsons in their quest for the truth. On May 8, 2013, a judge granted Johnson's body be exhumed. A private pathologist was hired to carry out a second autopsy. This time, the autopsy revealed that Kendrick Johnson had suffered hemorrhaging on the right side of his neck, which meant that he likely died from blunt force trauma. However, this case was dropped. Regardless, the organs were lost and could not be tested during the second autopsy, which further aroused suspicions in Johnson's parents that this was a cover-up. As a result of this new evidence, Matthew Moore, the U.S. Attorney for the Middle District of Georgia, announced a formal review of the case. The Johnsons hoped for a coroner's inquest which would begin the process of reclassifying the cause of Kendrick Johnson's death as non-accidental and reopening the investigation. The request, however, was denied, even though the coroner, Bill Watson, had originally expressed a lack of confidence in the sheriff's department's handling of the case. CNN gained access to the school security footage on the day that Kendrick Johnson was killed, but upon viewing it realised that it offered little insights into what happened that day. The cameras which faced the mats were unfocused and skipped around. All that could be seen from the cameras was Kendrick Johnson walking towards the gym, and then several seconds of footage of him jogging within the gym. He was never shown within or leaving the gym, and indeed he never did show up for his following classes. Furthermore, a whole hour of footage from the gym was missing. Right at the time which would have shed light on what happened that day, the finding further increased the confidence of doubters that the death was an accident. Then in 2014, Kendrick Johnson's parents filed a wrongful death suit against the school's officials, alleging that Johnson had been harassed by a white student which went neglected by the school, perhaps due to his race. Ebony.com described the murder of Johnson to have been at the hands of two white brothers, though they did not include names. The description of these brothers closely resembled that of Brian and Brandon Bell, with the magazine claimed they killed Kendrick because of a fight that had happened a year earlier. The Johnsons also accused the brothers' father, an FBI agent at the time, of covering up the murder by manipulating the school and authorities involved in investigating Johnson's death. In 2015, the Johnsons filed a $100 million civil lawsuit against 38 people, including 3 of their son's classmates, the school, the local crime lab, state and federal officials. 5 agents of the GBI and FBI agents and more. The parents asserted that their sons of the FBI agents killed Johnson and used their connections to cover up the investigation. Johnson's father, however, admitted that he had no hard evidence to back up any of these claims, and the Johnsons had to drop the suit. They were sued for more than $850,000 in attorney fees and more than $1 million in defamation charges. They were ultimately ordered by a judge to pay close to $300,000 worth of lawyers' fees to those that they had accused, with no evidence. to Lowndes County Sheriff Ashley Borg if there's questions.